Oh my goodness, vlog 10. Can you believe it? Vlog 10, welcome to On the Path with Cheryl Nembhard. I am so honored to have you with us. And again, I always say us because this is not my vlog, this is our vlog. We are on this journey of life together. We are learning, we are growing, we are sitting in the classroom of life, being taught from some amazing people who have some awesome life experiences to share with us. And I want to thank you, everyone who has watched, who has shared, reposted, tagged someone. This idea, this God idea, I'm just so glad that I said yes to it, because it's really just taken off, and thanks to you, you've really grabbed a hold of it. We've had over 25,000 views, over 150 shares. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been an amazing summer. Has it been a good summer for you? Have you been inspired by anything that you've watched? Has there been anything that stood out for you? I'd love to hear what your favorite vlog was. Feel free to throw that in the comment as well. I am so excited today because when I thought about this vlog series and I had the topics of what I wanted to say, this topic was right at the top of the list. And when I thought about the guests that I wanted to have over the course of the summer, this woman was at the top of the list. So honored to have with me the one and only Kike-Lola Odusanya. You are going to be blown away by her. Many of you know her under the acronym My Boss Is Me. That is a large community that she has started on Instagram and on Facebook, and she's the author of the book of the same name, My Boss Is Me, which has done extremely well. She's a speaker, but where her sweet spot is being a business mentor and coach, and she is going to talk to us today about being on the path to entrepreneurship. Many of you have a God idea, many of you have dreams, you know there's that big thing that you're called to do, but you are trapped in your 9-to-5. Well, Kike is the perfect person that's going to ignite you into your purpose and launch you into that dream and really get us out of the fears of leaving our 9-to-5. So I want you to do this for me. Get your pens out, get your books out, open your minds up, open your hearts up, and let's get ready to be enlightened and put on the path for entrepreneurship. We're going to be our own boss. I'll see you in a minute. The woman of the hour. I have been waiting 10 vlogs to talk to this one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kike-Lola Odusanya, and I love saying her name. It is so beautiful. Where is it from? Where does it hail from?
It's a Yoruba name from Nigeria.
From Nigeria.
Yes.
Oh, gorgeous. We have our own Nigerian queen with us today. Kike, first of all, welcome to On the Path.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have her.
Thank you for having me.
I'm fangirling here because I really just I love everything that you do, Kike.
Thank you so much.
You're the real deal for me.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad to have you here on the path because I feel like you are the perfect person to talk about this topic. Today we're talking about being on the path to being an entrepreneur, and you have been one for how many years?
This is my 11th year.
11 years. So a decade of lessons, a decade of learning that she's going to share with us today.
Absolutely.
So Kike, I guess the first thing I want to do is, I think we should get on the same page with everyone. Probably would be good for us, is we've got like a lot of textbook definitions, Webster definitions of what entrepreneurship is, but I want to hear your definition based on your life and like the ups, the downs. What would be your working definition of entrepreneurship?
Well, to me, I always say that entrepreneurship is actually a gift, because I believe it's the one and only thing that can actually show a person what they're capable of.
Oh, I love that.
In a way that nothing else can.
Ooh,
right?
Entrepreneurship is a gift. Why do you say that?
It's a gift because for me, I've been able to realize things about myself that I would never have the opportunity to realize in any other space, whether that's a job or any other endeavor, right? And it really helps you to uncover things about yourself that otherwise would be hidden. And so for me, the whole process has really been a gift. It's helped me to develop into the person that I am today. If it was not for entrepreneurship, I highly doubt it would happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, question 1A. Y'all see why I picked Kike already? Do you get it? Okay, so Kike, first of all, I just want to say thank you for launching My Boss Is Me. What an amazing community it is. If you need to be like sort of perked up, fired up, you want tips on business, I'm going to just place it right here now. My Boss Is Me on Instagram. It's an amazing, amazing site. Like over 15,000 plus followers.
Yeah, that's just Instagram.
That's just Instagram.
Yeah.
And then there's Facebook, and you're doing other stuff on other platforms as well. I know that you are involved in LinkedIn, and we'll try and get all of that information for you. And you wrote a book.
I did.
And that book was birthed out of probably joy, pain, like...
That book was birthed out of a conversation I was having with an individual, and we were talking, and I had said to her, I really wish somebody had told me all of this, all of what I'm sharing with you when I became an entrepreneur. And so I always tell people that my book is like a huge heads up. Like if you're heading into entrepreneurship and you're interested to figure out, or you want to have like a real conversation with somebody who's really gone through it and who's not just sharing the highlight reel with you, it's a great book to just open your mind to what's possible.
Oh, I love
in the
that.
entrepreneurial space. Yeah.
So I think I'm going to give you a 1B before we get to 2, because this is too good. It's too good. So if I said the word entrepreneurship, I'd love to know what words come to mind when you hear that word. Entrepreneurship.
Growth serum, for sure.
Growth serum. Yeah. I want to know what I want to get.
The ultimate growth serum.
Okay.
Right. Exploring entrepreneurship as a whole, like I mentioned earlier, will cause you to grow. Faith is probably is even more important than the first one I mentioned.
Yeah.
This whole process is a faith walk. And I recently got baptized last year, and I didn't realize how much faith I was exercising all along.
Wow. Because
you never know what's going to happen. As much as you can plan, you can put as many things in place in order to achieve a certain result, but it never works out that way.
Right.
This whole thing is a gut trusting faith process.
Wow.
Yeah.
So words for entrepreneurship that come to mind: growth serum, faith, maybe one more. Courage.
Yep. Woo. Action. That's a big one. Yeah.
I love that. You know, I feel like some of you are you're here because, like me, you love Kike, or you follow the vlog series, or maybe you stumbled on it because maybe it was shared to you, or you were tagged in it because someone thought that this might be for you, and you're sitting there, and it's not by coincidence. I always say nothing is by coincidence. Right. Everything is by divine orchestration. And maybe you're in that 9-to-5 and you're kind of struggling with fear and doubt. You've overplanned the plan, and you've overplanned that plan. I'd love to ask you, Kike, for those people, like, how do you even begin? Like, what's step 1 or step 2? Maybe give us a couple of steps to get launched.
Step 1, as cliche as it may sound, is just to decide, literally. Because we spend so much time in our head lamenting, going back and forth, and making a decision is also making a commitment to see something through. Yeah. So you have to just decide that I'm going to do this, and accept all that comes with as well. The second thing I would definitely say is you need a plan. As much as, you know, I'm a fly by my seat type of girl, but at the end of the day, you need a plan. So I often tell people to create a plan and then reverse engineer it.
Ooh. Right. So what do you mean? Like, see the end goal.
Right.
And then work backwards.
Right. So create a vision of what you want the end goal to look like as best as you can, right, with your limited experience, and work your way backwards. Ask yourself the questions: how can I get to this goal? What do I need? Who do I need to know? Who do I need to speak to? What resources are available to me? How can I make this happen? When you ask those questions, the answers will come to you.
Oh, I love that.
So the second step would definitely be to create a plan and reverse engineer your steps.
And would there be like a step 3? So we've got the decide, we've got the create a plan. What would be maybe another step to?
The third step would be to take action. Because this is where people get caught up in the whole analysis paralysis. And they have
say
this
that word again. Say that
analysis paralysis.
Analysis paralysis.
Yes,
Oh
they
my
become
gosh.
paralyzed with overthinking.
Yeah.
And it's a real thing. People get so caught up in their heads that they forget to take action. And as human beings, we're actually experiential learners. So we learn from our experiences. We learn when we fail.
Yeah.
So if your plan can be amazing, it could be the most detailed, well thought out plan, but it's not necessarily what's actually going to happen. So until you take action and actually review and revise as you move along, they call it in the corporate space, they call it the agile approach.
Oh, I love that.
Right? You have to just do something, see how it goes, and then continue on. But
I love that.
take action. A lot of people forget this part.
I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, I think, you know, when I think about you, Kike, and I think of who you are as a person, I have to tell you, first of all, it's a confession right now. I stalk you. I stalk you. Don't be afraid. Don't be frightened. I stalk your page. I stalk your profile stuff. And I'll tell you why I'm such a fan, because, and this is maybe a lesson for people who are watching. I have observed you over a long period of time. And the buy-in for me wasn't who Kike was or presenting, branding herself to be day one. It was Kike day 500, right? Kike year 2, year 4, year 7.
Right.
You have been consistent. And I feel like that's a lesson just to throw in for you, that people are watching you to see if you are and will do what you say.
Yeah.
Are you going to be consistent? And that's when I was like, I'm all in. Because you've been so consistent. But I know that that could not have come without a lot of struggle.
Right. You're correct. You are correct. You are
Yes,
correct.
Bob, you are correct for
Yeah.
that answer. I can only imagine that you've had a lot of setbacks. And I always say, we always say on this blog, that storms make the best teachers.
Oh,
right?
yes.
It's in that whoosh, whoosh, capsizing moments that you get all those aha moments. Was there ever, like, could you share that one thing that almost, I can only imagine, like, took you out, that storm, that moment that made you kind of like put on your big girl pants and really figure out stuff?
Yeah. Well, well, the first time that actually happened to me was the reason I became an entrepreneur full time. I found myself in a situation where I was in a relationship that ended after 11 years. 6 weeks after I had my second daughter, I actually got very ill, deathly ill, and was paralyzed for 6 months.
What?
Yeah. And I basically had a decision to make. When I called my job to explain my situation and how things would have to change, they were very adamant about not assisting me the way they should have. And so I also had started a clothing line that I had taken out an enormous loan for. And so I found myself in a situation realizing that even if I worked 100 years, I probably wasn't going to be able to create the income for myself that would help me get out of that situation.
Yeah.
And I was also on maternity leave, so I said, I'm employable. This I already know. Let me just take a risk and see what happens.
Wow.
So my entrepreneurial journey started as out of a sense of necessity. I almost felt like I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
And so I was just, the timing was right. And even though everything was falling down around me, I just figured I would just take a chance and see what happens. And I'm still here.
You
I'm
better,
still here.
you better clap those hands, still standing.
Yeah.
My gosh. And you know, it's funny because there's a quote that says, necessity is the mother of invention. Sometimes when you have no other choice, your back's up against the wall is when you start to really dig into those ideas. What would you say to someone who is facing possible storms. Like they've got this idea. I love what you said. They've made a decision. They put a plan in place. Maybe they're about to take action now. What can we kind of help them navigate, like be a lighthouse now? What storms should they look out for that would threaten entrepreneurship?
Unrealistic expectations of how long things are actually supposed to take you. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the process. Trust the process. And don't compare your journey to someone else's highlight reel. I think a lot of people, entrepreneurship has become this like culturalized, glamorous thing. It's having its time right now. And so people are making it seem as though it's like all fun or it's all glamorous. And it's, you and I know, it's not, right? So once you decide to actually explore this, just be patient with yourself. Everything will fall into place over time. A lot of people quit just when they're going to get to that place where things are going to start working. Because they're frustrated and because they're comparing themselves to somebody else. Yeah.
Oh man, I hope that you're getting something from this. I see a beautiful chair, and I want us to sit for this. So this is unscripted. We're just gonna have a seat and have a conversation. Look at this beautiful. I tell you, you walk in the path and you just stumble on these like sanctuaries. This is fantastic. Beautiful. I love how God works. So you know what? I'd love for you to take a couple of minutes. I feel like you have been through so many storms. You've come out like I love what you said, still standing. Like make a t-shirt, still standing. You've learned so much, Kike. And I know you've poured it all into your book, which every person who is watching this vlog needs to get. If you want to launch your career, your lifetime entrepreneur career, you need to really look at this. It's a blueprint for you. So I'll throw that up as well. But I'd love for you to turn to the camera and talk to that person who was like you and I, has a desire, has that thing that lights them up, that God idea, can't make the move. Has to pay the bills, trapped in the 9-to-5, maybe a single mother. The risk seems way more than the benefit. What would you say to that person?
First thing I would say is do not quit your day job just yet. Change your perspective about your day job. Use your day job as the fuel to fund your entrepreneurial journey. The second thing I would say is to just have faith, take a chance on yourself, because if you don't, who else will? And to just go for it. Just give it a try, especially while you have the safety net, so to speak, of your job still intact. And the last thing I would say is to just simply have faith, right? I think that things are not put inside of you if they're not meant to come to fruition. So just have faith, trust the process, and just go for it. That's the only way you're ever gonna find out, you know, if it's really meant for you.
And I feel like, you know, I'm not as versed in entrepreneurship as Kike is, but I feel like I want to just tell you, you're worth the sacrifice. You're worth it. You're the biggest, most valuable gift that you have in this earth. And it's worth seeing the fullness of what you can be.
Right.
I feel, don't you feel that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I do believe that entrepreneurship is not rated E for everyone. I don't believe everybody is built or designed or meant to be an entrepreneur, but I also believe unless you actually explore it, unless you actually enter the space, unless you actually give it a valiant effort, you'll never know. Because some of the best entrepreneurs are accidental entrepreneurs. People who have had no other options and just made their way through the process. But not trying, I'm an advocate for everybody trying. At least you'll be settled in your mind and say, you know what, I gave this a valiant effort, which is at least 5 years, by the way, not 9 months. Right? And I realized this is not for me, or this is the best thing that's ever happened to me, and this is where I'm supposed to be in life.
And last question, not on the books, not scripted, I have to ask you, what did you learn the most about Kike on this path to entrepreneurship?
The thing I learned most about me was that I pretty much can do anything. I can pretty much do anything I set my mind to. And that I'm capable of so much more than I can ever imagine. And it doesn't unfold until I explore that next challenge or that next opportunity. It's a consistent unfolding evolution of sorts.
Yeah.
But that I'm capable of a lot. Yeah.
I love that. You are capable of a lot. I think I'm going to end on that. That's perfect. You are stronger than you know. You are capable of a lot.
Absolutely.
There is greatness inside of you, and we want you to win. We want you to succeed at life, and we want you to leap. If you know that you're called to this, you feel it in your bones, maybe it's time to consider writing the plan, deciding, taking action. There is a full, abundant life, full of ups and downs, strength, joy waiting for you. So we wish you all the best. So here's to learning, here's to loving, here's to growing. But today, here is to leaping, and here is to no more analysis paralysis. I love that. Here is to becoming the best you on your path to entrepreneurship. We'll see you on the path. You're awesome. Oh, you're awesome. It's exactly what I thought it would be. It was enlightening, it was challenging, lots of wisdom. Kike-Lola is something else. I'm so glad you got to hear a little bit of her heart and all the things that she's learned on this path to entrepreneurship. We want you to succeed at life and get all the tools that you need. So I want you to look at the link below and really think about connecting with Kike. Think about maybe having a coffee with her, talking to her about being a business coach or a mentor, buying her book, or if you just want to become part of her community. Here are the Facebook groups, here are the Instagram accounts. I'm part of the community, so why don't you join me? Let's learn together and let's ignite. Guys, here is to the best of us. It's been an amazing summer. We're winding down now. I would love to hear from you. Is there any other topic before I close up shop that you'd like to hear? Let me know. Until then, here's to living, learning, growing,